The air in our apartment felt thick, like it was holding its breath. My fingers trembled as I stared at the open diary on Emily's desk, its pages splayed like a confession she hadn't meant to share. Her familiar, looping handwriting sprawled across the paper, but the words, those jagged, intimate words, sliced through me like a blade. Last night with him felt alive, like I'd forgotten how to breathe until he touched me. My stomach churned, while rising as I read on, each sentence a fresh wound. I grabbed my phone, hands shaking so badly I nearly dropped it, and snapped photos of the pages, evidence of a betrayal I couldn't yet comprehend. My chest tightened, the room spinning. How had we gotten here? The morning had started so ordinarily. Emily had kissed me goodbye, her lips soft and routine, before dashing out for her shift at the hospital. "Love you, Nate," she'd called, her voice bright as she slung her bag over her shoulder. I'd smiled, waved, and settled into our quiet apartment, planning to work from home. But the silence felt heavier than usual, pressing against my skin. I wandered to her desk to borrow a pen, and there it was, her diary, left open like an invitation to ruin everything. I shouldn't have looked. I knew it even as my eyes scanned the first line. But the words hooked me, pulling me into a story I didn't want to know. "He makes me feel seen," she'd written. "Not like Nate, who's always so steady." Steady? The word stung, a quiet accusation. Was that how she saw me? Safe, predictable, boring? My pulse hammered in my ears as I read more. Each entry a step deeper into a secret life. Dates, times, places, coffee shops, late-night walks, a hotel room downtown. My knees buckled, and I sank into her chair, the leather creaking under my weight. The apartment seemed to shrink around me. The ticking of the kitchen clock grew louder, a relentless reminder of time slipping away. I wanted to scream, to call her, to demand answers, but my throat felt sealed shut. Instead, I kept reading, torturing myself with every detail. "I know it's wrong," she wrote, "but I can't stop. He's like a drug." Guilt flickered in her words, but it wasn't enough to dull the rage bubbling inside me. Who was he? A coworker? A friend? My mind raced through faces. Her colleague Mark, always too friendly. The guy from her book club who lingered too long at our door. Each possibility twisted the knife deeper. I stood, pacing the hardwood floor, my footsteps echoing in the empty space. The photos on the walls, us laughing at the beach, our arms tangled in a moment of joy, felt like lies now. Had she been with him then? Was every memory tainted? I stopped at the photo from our trip to Maine, her head on my shoulder, the sunset painting her face in gold. My fingers brushed the frame, and for a moment, I wanted to believe this was a mistake. Maybe I'd misread. Maybe he was a metaphor, a fictional character in her writing. But the specifics, the hotel, the dates, were too precise, too real. My phone buzzed, snapping me out of my spiral. A text from Emily. "Home late tonight. Extra shift. Love you." The words mocked me. Love you. How could she say that while living this double life? My fingers hovered over the keyboard, itching to confront her, but I stopped. What would I say? "I read your diary." She'd know I'd violated her trust too. The irony burned. Both of us breaking something sacred, but hers felt unforgivable. I needed air. Grabbing my jacket, I stepped onto the balcony. The city's hum a dull roar below. The October chill bit at my skin, but it couldn't numb the ache in my chest. I replayed our last few months, searching for clues. She'd been distant, sure, but I'd chalked it up to her long hours, the stress of her job. There were moments, though, her phone buzzing late at night, her quick glances away when I asked about her day. Small things I'd ignored, rationalizing them as nothing. Now they screamed betrayal. Back inside, I returned to the diary, unable to stop myself. One entry dated a week ago made my heart stop. I told him about Nate. He says I deserve more. Deserve more? The words echoed, each one a blow. I'd given her everything. My time, my heart, my future. We talked about marriage, kids, a house with a yard. Was that not enough? Doubt crept in, insidious and cold. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe I'd failed her in ways I couldn't see. The front door clicked open, and my breath caught. Emily wasn't supposed to be home for hours. "Nate!" Her voice called, soft but tired. Panic surged through me. I slammed the diary shut, shoving it back to where I'd found it, my hands clumsy. In here, I managed, my voice cracking. She appeared in the doorway, her scrubs wrinkled, her hair messy from a long shift. She looked beautiful, and I hated her for it. Rough day? I asked, forcing normalcy into my tone. My heart pounded so loudly I was sure she'd hear it. Yeah, she sighed, dropping her bag. They called me in early. You okay? You look off. I forced a smile, my mind screaming with questions I couldn't ask. Just tired. I lied. Her eyes lingered on me, searching, and for a moment, I thought she knew. But she just nodded, heading to the kitchen for a glass of water. The normalcy of it was maddening. How could she act so calm when she was tearing us apart? That night, I lay beside her, staring at the ceiling while she slept. Her breathing was soft, steady, but it felt like a stranger's. I wanted to shake her awake, to demand the truth, but fear held me back. What if she admitted it? What if she didn't? Either way, the life we'd built was crumbling, and I was too paralyzed to stop it. The next morning, I packed a bag. Not much, just enough for a few days. I didn't know where I'd go, but I couldn't stay here, sleeping next to a lie. As I zipped the duffel, my eyes fell on her diary again, still on the desk. I opened it one last time, flipping to a new page she'd written last night after I'd gone to bed. I saw the way Nate looked at me tonight. It read, like he knows. I can't keep doing this to him. Tomorrow, I'll tell him everything. My breath hitched. She was going to confess. But as I read the final line, my world tilted. I'll tell him I love Mark and I'm leaving. Mark. Her coworker. The truth landed like a punch, but it was the last sentence that broke me. Nate deserves better than a coward like me. I closed the diary, my hand steady now. The photos on my phone burned in my pocket, proof of her betrayal, but also of my own. Invading her privacy, doubting her before she could explain. I didn't know what hurt more. Her infidelity or the realization that we'd both failed each other. As I walked out the door, bag in hand, the apartment felt like a ghost of our life together. I wasn't sure if I was leaving to protect myself or to punish her, but one thing was clear. Nothing would ever be the same.